Hey guys, welcome back to MB6 Films, and today we've got a whole lot to talk about. We're talking about the Star Wars original series, episodes 4 to 6. We got a whole lot to talk about, so we're going to be talking about my thoughts on episodes 4 to 6. The story, characters, everything, theories, speculation for the future if there's going to be a show or a movie set in that time. I will be including the in between episodes 3 and 4 as well as part of this, which will be a big point of the video. So this is like a series, first of a 3-part series. This will be episodes 4 to 6, and I'm also going to upload an episodes 1 to 3, the prequel trilogy video, and then a sequel trilogy video. Sadly, I don't really want to do that. But let's start off with the originals. So I think one of the most iconic and famous parts in the Star Wars comic series is the the end of the war, actually, between episodes 3 and 4. Anakin had just become Vader, Padme's died, Obi-Wan's gone into solitude, as has Yoda. Qui-Gon's obviously communing with Obi-Wan. We've got a lot of story there. Luke's just a boy. And Order 66 is still going on. You know, the Jedi are still being hunted. There's so many stories. And I really think that one of the things the comics in that time period highlights is Vader hunting down the Jedi, Vader's struggles, his regret, his past, his tragedy, him suffering, seriously, like him mentally suffering, physically suffering at a constant time. That's more damage than anyone could take in that universe or in our world itself. Vader on a day-to-day basis would suffer. He would relive trauma, the fight with Obi-Wan, Padme, him at the Jedi Temple with Obi-Wan, his friends, everyone. He would relive all those moments and be filled with regret. And whilst living through those horrible moments, realize what he'd become. He would be dealing with a completely destroyed body, put into a suit that Palpatine forged to keep him in pain because he failed. He's a miserable man. George said himself, Vader's a miserable, broken man. He's not this evil, just killer. He's a broken man, and he's seriously troubled. So Vader's obviously the centerfold of that time period, hunting down the survivors of Order 66, and his obvious mission to hunt and kill Kenobi, his old master, which obviously we saw in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I'll do a quick review of that. It's like a 30-second thing here. I didn't enjoy the Obi-Wan series. I thought it had great moments, like the flashback, the final fight, a few scenes with Vader and Obi-Wan. They were great, but it was the Reva show, and I didn't appreciate that. And also, Deborah Chow, if you could not shake the camera every given opportunity, that'd be great. I want to see the frame rather than being like shaking around every second. I actually want to watch the show. So, moving into the time period of episode 4 to 6. So obviously now we're at the point of past all this, we know a bit more about Obi-Wan, what Vader's been through. So 4 is a fantastic movie. A New Hope is arguably the most iconic Star Wars movie. It's what kicked everything up, sort of started this amazing journey for all these fans. And it's an incredible film. It doesn't get old to this day. It's a classic story. You got a farm boy, a mysterious wizard in the desert, Leia, the princess, Han, the smuggler, the rough and tough. It's a classic story, and it's so well done in a galaxy far away. I think George Lucas really did create something magical with that movie. But comparing that to 5, 6, 2 and 3 for me, it doesn't rank as high, because I feel like because it's the first movie, it's the fourth, but it's the first made movie. There was a bit of character development, but I would have wanted more from the movie. It may be controversial, but I always wanted a bit more character development. And I know obviously we did get that in 5 and 6, but I thought 4 was quite slow at the start. It obviously picked up, and when Obi-Wan has the talk with Luke for the first time about Anakin, it's such an iconic scene. Obviously Obi-Wan's sacrifice to Vader giving into even more hate. It's a very powerful story once you know the context and you've seen all 6 films. So yeah, that would probably rank bottom of my original trilogy, but not because it's bad, just because I prefer 5 and 6. Moving on to Empire Strikes Back. This movie is arguably the greatest sequel of all time. It's such a brilliant film. It's fantastic. Everything from Luke and Vader to Yoda to Han and Leia, Boba, everything. The story's so well done. Lando, Chewie. I just love that movie. I think we got a bit more of especially after Luke had burnt the Death Star and Palpatine had he obviously knows that Luke is the son. Sort of seeing that worry and sort of scared nature of Palpatine Vader being like, yeah, we need to bring him on our side or we're screwed in a way. I really enjoyed that. And I thought Luke's character development was really good because he was showing hints of Anakin when he was training with Yoda on Dagobah, because he was rushing, he wanted to save his friends, he was getting frustrated. It was so well done from George because he wrote those films knowing who Anakin was going to be, knowing Luke's his son, and showed those exact same characteristics in Anakin. And I really, really appreciated that after watching all 6. Luke could very well have turned to the dark side, in my opinion. I think it could have been cool. I'm happy he didn't, and he became the hopeful character he did up until episode 8. Well, anyways, ignoring that part of the Star Wars canon, sadly. You know, for me, Luke is a hopeful character. He is like the Superman of the Star Wars universe. I know I reference Superman almost every video, but he is like the Superman. He's hopeful. He'll do everything he can to save his loved ones and everyone. But that mainly comes through in episode 6 and the comics after episode 6. Episode 5 is brilliant. It really is. It's fantastic. Obviously, the "I am your father" line, the iconic moment, the fight between Luke and Vader, Yoda warning Luke of what this could mean, saving his friend, the dark side. We learned so much about the Force as well for the first time. And that would rank second in the original trilogy. But my favourite, Return of the Jedi, episode 6, it's just incredible. It really is. It's the culmination of the first trilogy and arguably the most iconic trilogy of all time. Luke confronting Vader and the Emperor for the last time, finding out Leia's his sister, Han and Leia's arc, the Battle of Endor, which I did think dragged on a bit too long personally. That was my minor issue. So the movie obviously opens up with Tatooine being the opening scene. Now the only issue I had with this film is it felt like, it might just be me, but it felt like that Tatooine battle went on for absolutely ages. We were just stuck on Jabba's barge or Jabba's palace for about half an hour, just being like, yeah, okay, so you captured, just get on with it, you know? So they eventually got on with it. And after you get through that, not through it, it was a bit of a struggle at one point, but once you get through that, you really focus on the story. Luke obviously goes to Dagobah, which is where Yoda dies, very unfortunately. It's a sad death after seeing the original trilogy as well, and the prequels. You obviously see that, you know, Obi-Wan comes to him, he learns the full truth of Vader's nature, who Vader really is, just to confirm it for himself. But the main thing of this story is Anakin's redemption. And obviously, knowing what I know with the comics and obviously episodes 1 to 3, this hits so much harder after watching them. So I always would say to anyone, if you haven't seen Star Wars and you're watching this, watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't watch it 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Because 1, 2, 3, you get the Anakin arc, then you get the Vader arc, and then you get, it's perfect, I think, in my opinion. So you get Anakin betraying the Emperor, and fulfilling the Chosen One prophecy. You know, he was always the Chosen One. He always was. He maybe went down the wrong path at one point and did a lot of questionable things, but he came back to the light. That's the point of the Chosen One. He restored order. The prophecy didn't say that he'd be restored in order because of himself, but still, it was clearly always meant to be that way. It was fate. And I thought episode 6 is a brilliant film. It's a really good movie. It's paced pretty well. The effects are good for its time. The story is the highlight though, and George Lucas really is a genius. But overall, the original trilogy is my second favourite trilogy of the 3. Not to mention the sequels. I really don't want to review them, to be honest. But I know there's a few sequel fans out there, so I will. I'll do what I must. But I thought Luke was a standout along with Vader and the Emperor. Those three the Emperor wasn't even really in the 4th or 5th one, but he was that ominous figure in the background. You could just feel was there. And I love that presence of Ian McDermott's Emperor Palpatine. Overall, out of 5, I would give it a 5 out of 5. There's, apart from one pacing issue in one of the films, it is just perfect. It never gets old to watch them in a trilogy. It's such a fantastic entry into the cinematic universe. And I'm so happy Star Wars, it's just a thing. I'm not happy with how it is now, but if I was to ask one thing, it's to get George back in the head seat, get George back, just let him run it all again. You know, that's what we all want. It's what Star Wars Theory wants. It's what Den of Nerds wants. It's what I want. We're all calling for it. Overall, it's a 5 out of 5. I love the sequels. It's a very long video, this one, so I hope you stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts and what you thought in the original trilogy. was, what you want more from me, and yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I will catch you guys soon.